dear students. I welcome all of you for today's session on system modeling and simulation. I think all of you are clear with the concepts, the topics, the contents, what we have discussed in previous sessions. Okay. To recap you, what are the contents we have discussed in previous sessions? Okay. Uh, at the start, first I said about an objective of this subject, right? What was the objective? To get familiar, to get prepared with modeling discrete event simulation. Means till now I haven't told you about discrete event simulation, just I've given you an introduction to simulation. In this session we will come across what actually discrete event simulation is. Got it? So what was that objective I stated you in the first session? Okay, later I told you about what actually simulation is. It's nothing but, remember, imitation of the operation of a real world process or system over time. Got it? Next, after defining what is simulation, I told you about a model. Got it? So model, is nothing but representation of a system. Got it? So why we need model? To study the behavior of a system as it evolves over time. Clear? So next, after model, we have come across the types of models. Got it? Mathematical model, computer-based simulation models. Then we had a discussion about when simulation will be appropriate, when simulation will be preferred, and also we have discussed about when simulation is not to be preferred, when it is not appropriate. So we also had a discussion about advantages and disadvantages of simulation. One thing remember, though I stated few things as disadvantages, they are not disadvantages at present days. I said, though I stated they are the disadvantages in earlier days, but not present days, because advances in simulation technology, simulation packages, okay, competency between the vendors of simulation software developers, okay, uh, advances have been made in simulation software. So those disadvantages which were in earlier days were not disadvantage at present. And we had a discussion about this in previous session. Now, coming to today's session, okay, let me first look at the agenda of this session. So first thing I am going to tell you what a system. Okay, first we will have a look at what is system. Then we will have a look at what is something a system environment. Okay, that will see. Once we come to know what is system and system environment, okay, we'll see what are the components, okay, of a system. What are the things? What are the objects that collectively form a system? Okay, so once you're familiar with this system, we'll see we'll differentiate two types of systems, something known as discrete systems and the other one is known as continuous systems. Okay, clear? So these are the contents we are going to discuss in this session. Okay, so now coming to systems and system environment. Okay, now what actually a system is? Let me tell you, before I define a system, I'll give you a simple example. I'll give you a simple example. For example, let me say our college. Consider a college as a system. Okay, what may be, there are many objectives of a college. Got it? Let me tell you one objective. What the one main objective of any college is to get a better result, to get a best result when compared to other colleges. So to gain this objective of college system, okay, college system is composed of several departments. Got it? Within college, there are a lot of departments. There will be the branches. Based on the branches, let me say computer science department, electronics department, civil department, mechanical department. Okay, so this each and every department, what I may treat them as an objects within a system. Okay, and all these objects within a system might be dependent on each other or might be interdependent. Sorry, might be dependent or might not be dependent on each other. For example, let me say in CS, some subjects need to be taught by EC faculties. Same thing, for AC, some subjects might be taught by CS faculties. Means there will be a dependence between EC and CS. Okay, means all these objects, what I call departments, okay, they should work collaboratively together. There should be some interaction between the departments or between these objects to achieve, okay, to achieve a goal, that is to get a better result. And of course, there's one thing I forgot. The main one more object is that there are nothing but students. Students or the objects, even faculty is an object. Students are dependent on faculty. Got it? So even there should be an interaction between students and faculties. Everyone should work together to achieve a goal, that is getting the best result. Got it? Got it. So clear with this. When I say college is a system, okay, what may I call as an objects? I may call each department to be an object, okay, or I may call faculties and students, okay. To be simple, okay. Now let me consider two objects: faculty and students. Okay, there should be a regular interaction between students and faculty, and they should work together. Okay, to achieve what? To get good result. Yeah. So now I'll tell you in generic what is system. This is an example. A system is defined. A system is defined. A system is defined as a group of objects that are joined together in some regular interaction towards the accomplishment of some purpose. This is what I said, right? Through an example, there should be an interaction between the objects within a system. Objects within a system should keep interacting. Why they should interact? To accomplish some purpose, to accomplish some goal, to accomplish some objective. Clear? Clear with the definition? A system is nothing but a group of objects that are joined together in some regular interaction to achieve some purpose. One more example. Consider an automobile factory. Consider some factory, okay? Automobile factory, say for instance. So, a better automobile, okay? So, machines within an automobile, machines, component parts, okay, and the workers, they should operate jointly, clear, to give a better automobile. Okay, now coming to there's something else environment. Okay, let me give you a better example. First, let me give you an example. Then I'll tell you what is environment in generic. Okay, so I think till previous year, we used to be addicted to offline classes. I mean, before this pandemic, coronavirus. Okay, what actually? How was the teaching methodology? It was entirely offline. Okay, of course, in some institute we used to prefer even an online, but what we used to follow before pandemic means student used to attend the class and we used to teach throughout the blackboard on the blackboard. So almost everyone have been addicted for offline classes, and offline classes was effective, very effective, right? So student used to get knowledge, and student used to score better, even the best. But after pandemic, what has happened? After pandemic, okay, in outside the boundary of the college, outside the boundary of a system, okay, that is, if I say college is a system, outside its boundary, okay, some pandemic occur. Just nothing but coronavirus. Okay, so because of that, no one used to enter the college. Students have been restricted from entering the college. Even staffs have been restricted from entering the college. So later, a new method of teaching methodology has been initiated. So all faculties need to go for an online teaching. Even students need to. Students have been mandated to go for listen online classes. So at the start, what has happened? It was an initial. It was being initiated, right? So online classes, even for not only for faculties, even students might have felt a bit complicated. Okay, because of the not familiar with online teaching. Okay, what happened? Even students got lacked with the knowledge, lacked the felt difficulty in learning through online classes. So the result automatically got down. I mean, here what I wanted to say is that before pandemic, students used to get knowledge, okay, through offline classes very clearly, but after pandemic, initially, not now. Okay, initially, what happened because of because of network issue or whatever it may be, students were not getting a clear knowledge through online classes. They faced difficulty in learning through online classes. So the result were down. Got it? So I mean to say, there is earlier the result was very good, but after pandemic the result was down, and this is because of changes in the environment, changes outside the system. Some pandemic occurred. Got it? So this, I mean to say, the performance of a college, the goal that a college aims to achieve is often affected by changes that occurs outside a college. Clear? I said result might got down. Why? Result, I mean performance of college, performance of system got down because of this pandemic that is occurred outside a college. Got it? So this outside the college I call as an environment. Clear with this? What is an environment? Outside of the system. Outside of the system, anything happens that if impacts on the performance of a system, that we call a system environment. Got it? So clear, what is system environment? A system environment is that changes in that has an impact on system performance. Got it? So a system is often affected by changes occurring outside the system. And this changes where it occurs outside the system, we call system environment. For example, let me say, given you an example, simple example of college system, right? Now I'll take an example, one more example, factory. Arrival orders. Okay, in let me say, because when a factory need to, because let me say a factory, when I say factory, okay, it's going to generate some products, it's going to build some products, okay. So the number of products that factory should generate, if just keeps on generating but there is no an order, okay, it's of no use. Simply generate the produce the products and just place them in a store. It's of no use. So the number of products that the factory need to generate is dependent on the arrival order, dependent on the order from the customer. Who is customer? Customer is outside the system. Okay, outside the factory, there's a customer. The number of customers arrives to the factory, the number of products is going to be generated by factory. Got it? There's nothing but supply on demand, effect of supply. Then larger the number of demands, larger the number of supply. Got it? So even The other example, banks, arrival of customers. Okay, this I'll tell you through some other example. Or how there's a specific example. Okay, simulation of queuing system. Okay, let me tell you, banks. Okay, let me tell you now. Arrival of customer also affects the system performance. Means the number. See, let me say there is a manager. Okay, forget manager is one of the entity in a bank. There's one person where we are going to deposit a cash or withdraw cash. Okay, let me treat rather than calling this a question. Let me say in ATM there are now a deposit machine through which you can deposit as well as withdraw. If I say that is a system, I want the system, and I say always it should be busy. The larger the system is busy, we call utilization is best. Got it? So it depends whether the ATM machine, deposit machine, cash deposit machine, whether busy or idle. It depends on what? The number of customers arriving to that machine. Got it? So arrival of customers makes the cash deposit machine to be busier or idle. Got it? Clear? So now let me proceed with the next topic. Now, components of system. Now, coming to components of system, okay. Just when I say, and okay, let me take an example of bank, okay, or even we can take an example of college system. College system I taken as example for previous topics. So now let me take an example of bank. So components of a system. Components of a system. So you have learned database management system, right? There you have come across something as entity relationship diagram. So now clear, I think you got what actually an entity. The same thing what you have studied in ER diagram. Okay. So entity means, okay, an object, okay, an entity means an object of interest in a system. Okay, an entity means one particular object in a system. Got it? For example, let me tell you, with respect to bank, when I say what and all are entities, okay, let me say bank manager is an entity. Got it? Or that cash deposit machine is also an entity. Clear? Or let me say even a customer is an entity, because entity is nothing but an object. Got it? So in your ER diagram also you have I think you had you have constructed a ER diagram for a university database, university, and there are something, one entity might be your family student. Got it? Clear? The same way in a bank, a customer can also be treated as an entity. Got it? So for they can't be bank without customers, right? Bank exists for customers. Clear? So entity means any object, okay, within that system is known as entity. For example, in college system, faculty is an entity, student is an entity. Clear? Clear with this? What's an entity? An object within a system we call an entity. For example, in college system, faculty is an entity, student is an entity. In case of bank, cash deposit machine that accept the cash or withdraw, through which you can withdraw cash, I can call it's an entity. Customer is an entity, manager is an entity. Got it? Clerk is an entity. So now coming to attribute. So what is an attribute? Some properties of an entity. I'll tell you what actually entity. We got to know what is an entity. So now what is attribute? Means property of an entity we call an attribute. Okay, one example let me tell you. I'm a customer. Got it? I'm a customer of a bank. Okay, I'm a customer of a bank. Now I have an account in a bank. My account number is an attribute, one of the attributes, because for my account number tells to which customer that account belongs to. Account number identifies an entity, clear? Because account number identifies the customer. So account number is an entity. Sorry, account number is an attribute. Don't get confused. Account number is an attribute. Attribute is property of an entity. One more property, what I can tell you. Now, in my account, there may be some cash, some amount. Later, if I withdraw, that balance might get reduced. Later, if I deposit, my balance gets increased. Got it? Deposit increases the balance. Withdrawal decreases the balance. So at any time, I can know what is available balance in my account. Clear? In my account. I mean to say balance is also an attribute. Clear with this? So what? Let me recover. Entity is nothing but an object. If I say customer is an object, okay, with respect to banking system. Attribute is nothing but property of an entity. Property of an entity. Now, with respect to banking system, customer is one entity. His attributes are his account number, is available balance. Now, what is an activity? Activity means, let me tell you, just look at the slide. What it says, a time period of specified length is known as activity. A time period of specified length is known as activity. Now, let me tell you. Now, you have entered the bank system. You have entered the, let me say, you have entered to an ATM counter. There is a cash deposit machine. Yeah, there's a cash deposit machine. No one was there in that counter. Now you are the only customer, you entered a counter. You got it? You're the only, until you enter, no one was there. Now you are the customer, entered to the counter. Until that time, the cash deposit machine status was idle. Now, let me assume you want to deposit an amount. So now what you will do? You will enter, you might swipe your card. You will initiate your transaction now, right? You will initiate your deposit transaction by swiping the card. Got it? So then you will key in your PIN. You will enter the cash. You will insert your currency. You will verify that. You will enter OK. Got it? So transaction happens. Finally, you will get a receipt stating your transaction is done. Okay. So this duration of time, this duration of specified time, specified some time, this duration of time, the moment your transaction initiated to the moment your transaction gets completed. Okay. The time from the moment your transaction initiated to the moment your transaction completes, we call an activity. Clear? So what is an activity? The moment in this case, in banking system, the moment my deposit transaction initiates to the moment my deposit transaction completes. Not only for deposit. Now you want to draw money from ATM machine. Okay. The moment you initiate your withdrawal transaction to the moment your withdrawal transaction completes, we call an activity. Clear? So always remember, activity means a time duration of specified length. Clear? So I repeat, in banking system, a simple example for an entity is customer. A simple example for attribute is customer's account number, customer's available balance. Simple example for activities, the time duration, the moment deposit transaction initiates, the moment deposit transaction completes. Now coming to state, okay, state of any system. Okay, let me tell you. Now let me consider bank, not an ATM machine. Okay, see, bank starts at 9:30 and opens at 9:30 and closes at 4:30 or 5, whatever it is. Okay, so anytime in the in especially on Mondays, bank will be very busy, right? Or especially in the month ends or a month day, the first day of the month. Okay, bank will be very busy, and usually in regular days, you might see bank will be busier at some time, and bank will be idle, will be very free in some time. Okay, so state means here, let me say state of the system. Okay, I mean, let me tell you. Okay, let me tell you some example. Okay, assume one entity, there are several entities. Okay, let me tell you, the manager is an entity. Got it? So there is one more entity. Is there? The one person will be there. You might be calling as a cashier, whatever it be. Usually, what suppose I want to deposit amount, I may go to that cashier. I will give amount to him. He will deposit to my account, and he will give me receipt. Immediately after my transaction completes, the person behind me will initiate his transaction. Suppose if there are no customers, if there are no customers in the bank, what happens? That cashier will be idle. Cashier will be idle. Cashier here I can, let me call as a server. Cashier, let me call as a server, because he is serving me. He is serving my request, right? So when I tell him to deposit an amount, he will deposit. When I ask him to withdraw some amount, he is going to withdraw. The cashier, I'll that particular designated person, I may call it as a server. So he will be busy when there is at least one customer. He will be idle when no customers. Clear? So that server will be busy. Server will be busy. At least one customer is there. Server will be idle if no customers. Clear? Also, got it. This is means to identify in system will make use of some variable. Okay, so variable, some variable to identify status of server, whether server is busy or idle. That is one variable to identify status of server, busy or idle. Apart from that, okay, at any time, any number of customers may arrive, right? So when you have some transaction, you will enter the bank immediately. If your transaction finishes, you will go exit from the bank. So at any time, number of customers within the bank may also vary. Clear? At any time, number of customers within the bank may also vary. For that, to keep track of number of customers in the bank, we can have one more variable. Okay, so a status of the bank means at any particular point of time. At any point of time, what is the status of server? Busy or idle? What are the number of customers? Okay, in the bank. So this collection of variables, all a collection of all these variables that describe the system at any particular point of time. We call state of the system. Now coming to event. Event means, listen, we know number of, listen, we know number of customers in a bank. Number of customers in a bank is one variable, right? Is one of the state variable. State variable, right? Number of customers in a bank is a state variable. So now let me tell you, if a customers enter the bank, customers, if a new customer arrived to the bank, what happens? The number of customer gets increased by one. It means state variable got changed, right? Listen, if a new customer arrives to the bank, number of customers gets increased by 1. Similarly, your transaction has been completed. So now what you will do, you will exit from the bank. Exiting from the bank also decreases the number of customers by 1. So what actually an event means, like arrival of a customer to a bank or departure of a customer from a bank. Okay, arrival of a customer to the bank or departure of a customer from the bank changes number of customers in the bank. I mean, change the state variable. Got it? So this some instantaneous occurrence that changes the state of the system we call an event. Got it? So one state variable is number of customers in the bank, I said. Number of customer increases when a new customer arrives. Number of customer decreases when a customer exits from the bank. This arrival of a customer I will call an event. Departure of a customer from the bank I will call an event. Arrival of a customer is also an event. Departure of a customer is also an event. This event is something that changes the state variable. Yeah. So now coming to endogenous event and exogenous event. Endogenous means activities and events occurring within the system. See, some event occurred within the system. Some event occurred within a bank. Some event occurred within a bank. Listen, endogenous. Some event occurred within a bank and that event changed the state variable. For example, let me say, you are in the bank, your transaction is being performed. Your transaction completes. As soon as your transaction completes, what you will do? You will depart from the bank. As soon as your transaction completes, you will depart from the bank. The moment you depart from the bank, number of customers in the bank got decreased by 1. So this event which occurred, this activity which occurred within a bank we call an endogenous event. Exogenous means activities and events occurring outside the system, that is outside the bank. I mean, a new customer arrives. A new customer, from where he is going to arrive? He is arriving outside the bank from the system environment. As soon as new customer arrives, the number of customers within bank got increased. Yeah. So state variable got changed, right? So exogenous event means some event that occur in the system environment. Some event occurs in the system environment and that changes the state of the system. Clear? This is about components of system. So now we'll have a look at two types of systems. Okay, there are two types of systems. One we call discrete systems and the other we call continuous systems. Okay, discrete system, name itself says discrete means not continuous. Okay, discrete means not continuous. So first let me tell you through an example itself. Okay, let me say discrete, for example, let me tell you an example first. Okay, bank example. Now at 10 let me say at a particular point of some time, okay, a new customer, there are x number of customers in a bank, x number of customers in a bank. After some time a new customer arrives, means there's a time gap between the arrival of next customer, right? There's at least a second gap between the arrival of a customer. So next, similarly, when the new customer, state variable got changed. Similarly, when your transaction completes, you will exit from the bank. Okay, so there's a second, at least a second gap the moment you exit. So state variable got changed. Here the state variable changes, that is number of customer changes, okay, with some time gap between them. There's no, it's not continuous. So such a system where the state variable changes over a discrete set of points in time, we call a discrete system. Got it? So got it. Again, see here, between the arrival of customers, there will be at least a second gap or a minute gap. When a customer departs also from the bank, there's at least 1 second gap. Clear? So, I mean, the number of customers within the bank changes not continuously. There's at least a time gap, as at least a second or a minute gap. Not minute, at least a second gap will be there. Got it? This we call such a system called discrete system. See, a discrete system is one on which the state variables change only at a discrete set of points in time. This you can see in the graph. See, x-axis represents time, y-axis represents number of customers. Got it? At some particular point of time, there was only one customer. At some particular point of time, there was two customers. Again, one customer, two customer, three customer. Clear? So discrete means not continuous, remember. So now we'll have one more system, continuous system. Continuous means the state variable of a system should change continuously. Got it? Even there should not be a second, microsecond, nanosecond gap. The state variable should change continuously. Now in this example, okay, once again, I'll tell you what is the continuous system. Is one in which state variables change continuously over time. Okay, in this example, I have taken an over tank. Okay, or let me say, we know, right? Dam will be there, right? We have heard about Arangi Dam. Okay, in our place. So what happens during flood? What happens? Tunnel will be removed. So water flows from the dam. So when water flows from the dam, okay, the one side of the dam, okay, the water level keeps reducing, okay, continuously. Got it? When water is allowed to flow from the dam, what happens? The water flow is continuous. The water flow, the other one side of dam, the quantity of water keeps decreasing continuously. Got it? There's a continuous flow. Got it? It's not like discrete system. Clear with this? So what is continuous system? A continuous system is one in which state variables change continuously over time. In this case, what is the state variable which gives status of the system? The level of water. In the level of water. The level of water, when water is made to flow from the dam, the level of the water gets decreasing continuously. Got it? This is shown in the graph. Okay. Now with this, I'll wind up my session. Thank you for listening. Thank you.